We're flanking! We're flanking! You know the scene from, is it Old School, I think? Is that the movie with Will Ferrell where he's running through and he's yelling, "We're streaking!" He's the only guy that's streaking? Yeah. That's we're flanking. We've been talking about this a lot. Positioning, pushing, when to push, when not to push, winning flanks, what to do when you win a flank, what it looks like, and have you set the conditions for that flank to be able to use it. So here we are on Himmel's Cliff Dorf. Come up here and we'll bounce a shot off that guy. Why not? We've got the T-44 hanging out with us. Looks a fairly standard setup, minus the fact that my team has a bunch of guys invested on the 1-2 line. And I'm already looking at the middle and the other side of the map. Over on the east side, we're already kind of hurting over on the east side. So just watch that develop. The enemy team's going to start to figure that out a little bit. We lose a guy right there. So right off the bat, there goes one of our tier 9s. That's no good. We're doing okay in the middle, but not amazing. Holy cow, there goes a 110. Notice the amount of purple tanks that are headed over to the east side. And the enemy team sees all this stuff as well, especially if they've lit up a bunch of guys in the 1-2 line and they've killed somebody in the middle and they notice that there's a T-44, and there's me, and there's the 4502. All right, whoa, hold on. We're flanking, we're flanking. The CS-52 LAS and the Indian Panzer, and God knows however many other tanks, because they were all headed that way, have realized that the green team, us, has not invested anything on the east side, and we're vulnerable to potentially a crossfire. But when you see that kind of stuff, there has to be some conditions set up for it to be worthwhile or to be useful. And generally that means that there's a crossfire. Like if you come around there and go, "Ooh, I'm setting up a crossfire," but you're the only lane of fire, that's not a crossfire anymore. Now it is to some extent because of our position, but because we're not threatened from the other side too much, the AMX maybe potentially, but because we're not threatened too much, they haven't won the middle, they haven't won the west. All you're doing is setting up a fight, a straight up fight back and forth. And you've also set up a crossfire on you, because there's going to be dudes up in the sniper hole back here, right? They are winning by 2, but it's not so much that if a couple guys get in this ramp where the CS-52 is, they really just start shredding us. As a matter of fact, we're going to watch this go, and I finally just noticed that guy. I'm going to come over this way. We start shredding them. And it's fine to investigate. The CS-52, maybe a couple guys come up, see if they can kill the IS-3, for example. The IS-3 is exposed, so they should be able to kill the IS-3 without taking too much damage, maybe. Let's see how it goes. They do push into the middle. They're trying to make that happen. But we do have spotters there, which means if they push, then all of those TDs and campers back there should be able to do damage, all right? There we go. Whoa, look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 6 tanks over there. 6 tanks, right? There are another, looks like 4 tanks over here. So that's 10 of what they've got left. One's dead, and that leaves 3 or 4 somewhere else. Okay? So they are just about to set up a crossfire. Let's see how they do it. This is where teams get over-aggressive and overconfident. You get 5 or 6 guys and you start yelling, "I'm flanking," right? You're Will Ferrell, you're in the quad, you've taken off your clothes, and off we go. And they just keep pushing in. Really kind of oblivious to the fact that we have a pretty good setup for defending. I've got shots on their side there. There's a bunch of guys camping back there. And just watch how this goes. M103 pushes in, and I bet he's regretting at this point. He's taking shots from every direction. Boom, boom, boom. I need to make sure I don't die. Get a little unlucky right. Yeah, that one works. I'm going to trade a shot with this guy. I don't really want to trade. Ooh, he missed. That's good. Let's kill him. A little hasty. It bounces. That's not good. Bummer. I'm going to try to bait the shot that bounces, but he actually pins me here. Boom. Ow. All right. Just zoom in really nicely. Right there, he's not able to move because he's tracked, so he can't give me angle issues. ISM is trying to get away, and just like that, man, we're flanking, and we just shred the push. And they had a great setup right there. It's just the 2 guys that went out into the open, there was 0 reason to do that right there, and now they're just down tanks that they did not need to be down. And then this dude just comes up and over, and he takes a bunch of hits in the side from a crossfire. So they actually set themselves up into a crossfire as opposed to put us in a crossfire. And thank goodness the 4502 survived. Now, if they had been any kind of aggressive in the middle, it's very likely if they'd have pushed in that the combination of the push from here and the push in the middle would have collapsed our defense in the middle, and then they wouldn't have had the crossfire going on. At the same time, though, looking at the west side of the map, we've started to win over there, and now we've got them in a really bad position. So be very careful, my friends. If you win a flank fast like this purple team did, but you didn't kill anybody, and the other team has a bunch of guns left, think very carefully about whether you really won the flank. You didn't win the flank. You're occupying it right now. All right? In this situation here, they were not able to set up any kind of crossfire. They were not able to leverage the flank win because we had too good of a position for defense. There was just no reason to push in like they did. And a lot of games are lost that way by teams that go, I'm flanking. Oh, we won the flank. Crossfire. Woohoo. That's how you win World of Tanks. Well, it is, but the rest of the conditions have to be set, and they weren't. All it served to do was lose a bunch of tier 9s. Right? Not a bunch. I mean, they lost a 103, they lost a ISM, they lost the Suma. So a tier 9 and a couple 8s were lost right there, and now they're in kind of bad shape. Now watch what happens, though. Shoot the T-30. I have other videos talking about this out in the recent past. Look at the snipers that were all up there. They're taking advantage now of the hit point situation and the map situation, and they're pushing up. 42's down below there. I'm watching them. You see I switched the camera over. Pretty soon we're going to have guys behind these dudes. Now I make a bit of a mistake here because I come up here. I get lit. There are a decent number of enemy tanks left. And it's going to turn out that the Scorpion, the enemy Scorpion, is actually down at their cap. I'll take a stab into that bush. Doesn't seem to be anybody there. I'm perma-lit because I'm lit by that guy by proxy. Alright, so he's close enough. What I want to do is get up on the hill. I do want to talk a little bit about this move. The hill's a nice place to be. You can get a lot of shots up there. But sometimes, again, conditions being set are important. I'm going to eat a shot from the Scorpion. He just shoots me right in the back, all the way down on the cap. So I should have waited for the T-30 to die. It was fine to be there. I wasn't getting any shots, but I was also keeping him lit. Somebody probably worrying about me sitting there. So I eat a bunch of hit points coming up here, looking for the LAS. So we get a shot on this guy. He's behind a rock. He's actually a pretty good player. He does a nice job of falling back. He realizes that that whole flanking thing didn't work out. He's one of the few guys that didn't drive up and over and take a bunch of hit points of damage. You know, a lot of times your good players will get to those positions like the 52 LAS did. And it's not because they want to YOLO in. They want to go see what's what. And maybe they can get some shots on guys' flanks, things like that. Notice, though, that he didn't just YOLO up and over. Once I took a bit of his hit points off of him, he kind of stopped doing that. So I get another shot there. And then he's one of the few that actually bailed out and said, all right, well, that didn't work out. And he's probably cursing the 3 guys who went up and over and got nuked. So down he goes, and because our map position is so much better, we're starting to gobble these dudes up. Down he goes. We got the Char Footer. He's over here. I'm up to 2,800 damage. I need to come off the hill. I think it takes me a long time to do that. Proto's right there. That's right. Yeah, the Proto actually works his way around to the middle before we end up killing him. It's still anybody's game. We're in better shape. We have more hit points. We got more tanks. I wouldn't say we necessarily have better tanks, though. The Char Footer's a good tank. He's down on hit points, though. The Scorpion, I think, is full hit points, unless he took a hit. And the Prototype is in good shape as well. All of a sudden, our map control that was great isn't too good. They made their own little counter push over there on the west side. So I need to start moving around a little bit and try to find these guys. I took a little longer than I would like. Just kind of sitting up here. Here comes a Prototype. I didn't actually see that. I didn't process it. Yeah, taking blind shots at the Scorpion. I don't know why this guy did this, but it was very helpful. Missed that shot, unfortunately. He takes a big hit from somebody here, I think. Maybe not. I got one of them. Maybe I killed him. I don't remember. Nope, somebody else got him. There we go. So 4502 nuked him. Now we're in really good shape. Just a couple TDs. Come up top. Look for a light. I know I finally figure out the proto's down here. This is where I kind of realize it. Make sure I didn't see him move up. If I get lit, I'm feeling like I might get killed by the Scorpion. But the Scorpion just died, so now we're just going to do a little pixel hunting on this guy's turret. There we go. Going on him. So I really wish I had come off the hill a bit earlier. Could have probably done a little bit better work. Although I was a one-shot to all these dudes. Get another little sneaky shot that bounces. He's not really paying attention because he's busy shooting these other guys. A shot on him, and I think he dies. Yep, there we go. 3,665 damage. We end up with 1 kill there. Again, another great example. I like to show actual examples. It's one thing to say, you know, when you're flanking, then determine whether you can push or go back. Like, that's the big picture tactic. But what does that actually look like? And when I say the conditions have to be set, what does that actually look like? This is a good example from the Purple's perspective. The conditions weren't set for them to come up and over that ramp. And it's a really classic one for this particular map. And in fact, it goes both ways, right? The north spawn can come around and win the east and try to come up this ramp and onto this spot and do it too early and get shredded. Okay, so both those sides can have the same problem. When they came around, they killed the IS-3. That was great. That was a great use of the I'm flanking. Take a couple peeks. Do I have any shots? Can I maybe hit the 4502? Just carefully pick at these guys, but don't come up and over and expose yourself to a crossfire from the guys in the middle. And you have to know somebody's going to be up on the sniper spot, especially with all the TDs that were in this game. And just continuing to push in, just absolutely crush their team's ability to win. As a matter of fact, if you go back and say, hey, let's take these 3 tanks they lost and not push up here, and then look at the end result right here, they're still in really good shape and in contention for this game, right? All else being equal, and the game kind of goes the same way. They have 3 more tanks that we were going to have to take their hit points off in some other way than them just YOLOing forward and dying. There you go. That is all I've got for today. Thanks for tuning in. We will see you.